Politically, can he count on you to be on the campaign trail for him this summer and fall? Can he count on your support?
What we are talking about now is not a Grammy Award contest for Best Singer. Biden is old. He's not as articulate as he once was. I wish he could jump up the steps on Air Force One. He can't. What we have got to focus on is policy. Whose policies have and will benefit the vast majority of the people in this country. You got in Trump somebody who wants to take away a woman's right to control her body, who thinks that climate change is a hoax and it was turned his back on the working class of this country. And on the other side, you have Joe Biden, first president in American history to walk a picket line. We have put more money into fighting climate change than any time in the history of this country. We're rebuilding our crumbling infrastructure. The American people want an agenda for the next 4 years that speaks to the needs of the working class of this country.
As more people should have done in the run-up to the 2020 election and put in guardrails to protect what he predicted would happen, we need to listen to Bernie.
And here is the fear, and I hope everybody hears that. It could well be, and I don't know what's going to happen, nobody does, but it could well be that at 10 o'clock on election night, Trump is winning in Michigan, he's winning in Pennsylvania, he's winning in Wisconsin, and he gets on the television, he says, "Thank you, Americans, for reelecting me. It's all over. Have a good day." But then the next day and the day following, all of those mail-in ballots start getting counted, and it turns out that Biden has won those states. At which point Trump says, "See, I told you the whole thing was fraudulent. I told you those mail-in ballots were crooked. And I got, we're not going to leave office."
And we were getting ready for a big celebration. We were winning everything, and all of a sudden it was just called off. This is a fraud on the American public. This is an embarrassment to our country.
Bernie Sanders appeared on Face the Nation with Robert Costa on Sunday and was of course asked about the internal discourse concerning conversations about Biden stepping down. But rather than humor the discussion that has already clogged airwaves across mainstream media, the senator from Vermont laser focused on the true nature of what is at stake in this election, that being the tenet of democracy. And he instead urged President Biden and those associated with the administration to put aside concerns about his age and focus on policy issues that appeal to working class voters, saying, and I agree, that the Biden campaign needs to pivot its strategy here.
Politically, can he count on you to be on the campaign trail for him this summer and fall? Can he count on your support?
I've already done 6 events in Wisconsin. We've been to New York. I've been to Ohio. And let me say this, and maybe the most important point, Bob, I want to make this morning. What we are talking about now is not a Grammy Award contest for Best Singer. Biden is old. He's not as articulate as he once was. I wish he could jump up the steps on Air Force One. He can't. What we have got to focus on is policy. Whose policies have and will benefit the vast majority of the people in this country. Who has the guts to take on corporate America? Who is talking about expanding Medicare so we cover dental, hearing, and vision? Who's talking about raising the cap on the taxes that people pay into Social Security so we can raise Social Security benefits and extend the life of Social Security for 75 years? Who's talking about a permanent child tax credit to cut childhood poverty in America by 50%. Those are the issues he's talked about. He's got to bring them up in the floor. He's got to promise the American people that if they give him a Democratic Senate, a Democratic House, re-elect him, he's going to do that in the first 100 days.
And listen, as you guys know, I've been screaming into the ether about the need to focus on accomplishments and policy as opposed to who bloody descends stairs better, outlining that when it comes to mental acuity for this job, record is also important, and Biden's record is what this campaign should be highlighting.
You got in Trump somebody who wants to take away a woman's right to control her body, who thinks that climate change is a hoax and it was turned his back on the working class of this country. And on the other side, you have Joe Biden, first president in American history to walk a picket line. We have put more money into fighting climate change than any time in the history of this country. We're rebuilding our crumbling infrastructure. But this I do want to say, and where I am critical of the Biden campaign. It's one thing to talk about your record over the last 3.5 years, which is a strong record. but the American people are hurting. 60% of our people live in paycheck to paycheck. 25% of elderly people are trying to get by on $15,000 a year or less. The American people want an agenda for the next 4 years that speaks to the needs of the working class of this country. And frankly, I don't think the president has brought that agenda forward. He has got to say, I am prepared to take on corporate greed, massive income and wealth inequality, and stand with the working class of this country. He does that, he's going to win and win big.
He's already proven that he's capable of doing the job that everyone's hell-bent on casting doubt over. Also than the man who used a Sharpie to draw the path of a hurricane to preserve his ego.
You don't work for the institution, you work for the president. So if, for example, you're a government weather forecaster using your expertise to predict the path of a hurricane, and hypothetically, a president assembles the press only for it to become clear he's extended your map in black Sharpie for some fucking reason, your job isn't to correct him, it's to say, absolutely right, Mr. President, you truly are the best at weather.
And yeah, like Bernie said in this interview, of course we need to acknowledge concerns after the debate. Hell, even Biden himself acknowledged it. So much so that his performance has allowed Trump's performance to pass as somewhat cogent, just because he spewed dangerous lies and disinformation without stuttering or losing his train of thought, even if that train was never on the track to begin with. But Bernie's right. Also, it's not the Grammys, or as Jon Stewart put it, the Olympics. This is the very preservation of a centuries-old precedent, which means it is vitally important that the focus is on policy, not just what this administration has already accomplished, proving that he can do the job.
Very strong when looking at the GDP. It shows the economy growing at the fastest pace since 2021. And this comes after more good economic news this week, as we reported. Consumer confidence is up in a pretty big way, growing for the third month in a row.
Because a lot of us feel like there is a lot of good economic news. Manufacturing jobs in my home state of Ohio, booming right now because of policies that the Biden administration put into place.
And as the holiday shopping season enters the home stretch, people seem to be feeling pretty jolly about the economy. The Consumer Confidence Index rose to more than 110 points. That's the highest number since July. The data is put together by a nonprofit business group called the Conference Board.
Yeah, this was an economy and a stock market that surprised really all the experts. I don't think very many, if any, quite predicted this.
36 months of job growth.
Right.
I think 20 plus of sub 4% unemployment as we stay at 3.7. Yeah, I mean, that's 2.7 million jobs added in the full year.
It's just it's a great economy, and there's nothing you can do about it. It's a great economy.
But there are a number of your Democratic colleagues who believe this should be an open discussion, a very public one, because the future of the party in these elections are at stake. Do you disagree with that?
I think the party needs to have a dynamic discussion about our best ticket. But regardless of the outcome here, it's going to be a team sport going forward. Democratic Party has a terrific bench of talent. We got Pete Buttigieg go out there talk about infrastructure and the economy. Gina Raimondo talking about domestic manufacturing and outcompeting China. Kamala Harris on reproductive rights and the rule of law. We have a strong story because we've got a strong record. This economy was flat on its back 4 years ago. Since then, it's been 15 million jobs, 18 million small business applications. The United States is stronger relative to China for the first time in a presidential administration in the 21st century. And so we don't need any one single communicator. We need a team of communicators to actually put voice to our accomplishments over the last 4 years.
But the plans for the future, because as Trump desperately tries to distance himself from the architects of Project 2025, yeah, that thing that he's never heard of, but also disagrees with, I don't know how that works, and that his literal campaign advisor was appearing in videos for.
It's to play chess, not checkers. It's about making decisions that will affect us as human beings, our careers, our next generations to come. Did you know that it is now a crime to be homeless? Pay attention. It's not a secret. Look it up. They are attacking our most vulnerable citizens. The Project 2025 plan is not a game. Look it up!
But Biden needs to zone in on the areas that truly impact working families. Because like it or not, I've been vocal about this too, the most popular policy positions under this administration were progressive policy. Lowering prescription drug prices, CHIPS and Science Act, student loan forgiveness. So that's where the focus should remain.
Because I believe in this man. I believe in his character. I believe that he has been one of the most transformative presidents in our collective lifetime. I really believe there's a decency to Joe Biden. And I'm old-fashioned. Character matters, but I'm also old-fashioned in this respect. Results matter. Politics is not just performative, not just entertainment. It's about getting things done. And it's been a remarkable 3.5 years from my perspective. It's been, dare I say, a masterclass.
And giving endless oxygen to the internal conflict does nothing but serve one group of people, and that is the MAGA crowd.
Love this video? Make sure you stay up to date on the latest breaking news and all things Midas by signing up to the MeidasTouch newsletter at MeidasTouch.com/newsletter.